Hi everyone, I'm very sorry for the long break, but I am back now. And by the time I've uploaded this video, I should have finished editing the whole Maxwell playthrough. I did play this months ago, so there have been a few changes in the game since then that will not appear in the series. All of them have been very minor though. I think the biggest difference in the game since then was the addition of Misery Toadstool. The game also added the Bone Helm drop to Fuel Weaver, and the latest change was the addition of Winona, our newest DST character. So I was currently in the middle of clearing the ruins. In the last episode, I got all of the Spelunkies out of the way, and now I'm going to be fighting the Clockworks. There are a lot of these ancient statues as you go deeper into the ruins. When mined, the statues drop to the site and either a gem or nightmare fuel. Not all of the statues will have gems in them, and you can see in the statue if it will drop a gem or if it will drop nightmare fuel along with a thulecite instead. I found the fully working ancient pseudoscience station. There should always be one of these areas in the ruins with nightmare lights and bishops guarding the station. This is also where the chest for the Matthias puzzle should be located, but that update was not yet available at the time when I played this. The damaged Clockworks have the same stats and behave the same way as the Clockworks on the surface. There isn't really a good way to kite the bishops, so I'm just gonna tank them with armor and keep an eye on my health. I got a little worried that the boulders from the antline cave-in might damage the pseudoscience station, so I moved away. The boulders ended up killing my shadow puppet instead. I think I gave up on using the shadow puppets at this point, and I'm just gonna be mining the statues myself. The mechanical piles on the ground are broken clockworks. You can destroy them with a hammer for more loot, or you can repair them with 3 gears. When repaired, they will turn into the damaged Clockworks and will become followers similar to Pig and Bunnyman. But unlike Pig and Bunnyman, they will remain our followers indefinitely, unless we attack them, leave the caves, or exit the game. It does take 3 gears to repair them, but they should make clearing the ruins a lot easier and faster if gears are not that important to you. But for this playthrough, I'm just gonna hammer all of the broken Clockworks I find. There's also a small chance of an enemy Clockwork spawning when they are destroyed. To save a little on the cost of hammers, I like using the rooks to destroy the thulecite walls for me. This would have been a great time to craft a thulecite suit from the ancient pseudoscience station for my armor instead of log suits. I'm just very stingy when it comes to spending thulecite, but it would have been a much better choice for armor, and it would have cleared my inventory of all of the logs that I brought to craft log suits. The ruins are filled with these clockwork areas. I'm going to be playing this very carefully. With most of the other characters, I would clear these areas a lot faster, but I did not want to risk playing like that with Maxwell. The Clockworks can do a lot of damage if I become careless. What I want to do when I enter these areas is to try to get the attention of the rooks. If I can get the rooks to run around, they can do a lot of damage to the other Clockworks when they run into them. Another reason to get the rooks moving is for them to destroy the broken clockworks. If they are the ones that destroy them, and a damaged clockwork is spawned, the clockwork will attack the rook that spawned it. I will fight and tank the bishops whenever I can isolate them. This is another similar clockwork area, and I'm just gonna repeat what I did earlier. I'm going to get the rooks moving around so that they can run into each other, and hopefully a few clockworks will spawn from the broken ones that they destroy. There are 5 of them now in this area, but one of the rooks and one of the bishops were spawned by the other rooks, so I don't have to worry about them. And if I keep my distance from this other bishop, it won't aggro onto me yet. So I'm just gonna keep moving around until only one of the rooks remains, and it will be safer for me to fight the bishop. At the pseudoscience station, I want to craft a lazy forager, magiluminescence, and starcaller's staff. I need the lazy forager to gather the loot in the middle of the cave holes. I want the magiluminescence later on for the ancient guardian because of the way I choose to fight it. I also want the starcaller's staff for the ancient guardian, but I do not have enough yellow gems to craft that yet. The lazy forager will automatically pick up any items on the ground around us. I think the range of the lazy forager's ability is probably the same as the radius of these cave holes. This seemed like a good time to use the tent to take an actual break without exiting the game, as well as regain my health and a little sanity. Whenever I return to the base to resupply, I open the bonding wrap to get a few of the food and healing that I brought with me. But I take only what I estimate I might need before I have to return here to drop off more of the loot and resupply again. This is the military biome. You can identify it with the cave rock turf that is all over this biome. This area will have clockworks, ancient statues, broken pseudoscience stations, and a lot of nightmare lights. Unlike the smaller clockwork areas, it is a lot more difficult to use the rooks in such an open area to damage the other clockworks. Half of the movement of the rooks moves away from us, and without borders to keep them from going all over the place, they are a lot less useful to me. But I do want to try to get the rooks to destroy the broken pseudoscience stations for me. When destroyed, the stations will drop loot like thulecite, gears, gems, and other items. There is also a high chance that it will spawn mobs that will be aggressive to whatever destroyed them. The broken stations can be used to craft half of the items available in a pseudoscience station. Or you could repair the broken stations into their fully working versions with thulecite. But I find that very expensive, especially since the ruins already has a fully working station available. I'd much rather destroy all of the broken stations for the extra loot. The cycle reaches the nightmare phase, and since there are so many nightmare lights around this place, there will be a lot of shadow creatures. If you are not yet comfortable dealing with a lot of them, then you should try to be aware of the nightmare cycle and maybe move away from the nightmare lights before it reaches this point. But if you are okay with fighting them, then this is a good opportunity to farm nightmare fuel. I remember in the regular Don't Starve game that when the nightmare phase ends, these shadow creatures drop the fuel when they disappear. I'm not sure if that still happens in Don't Starve, but in Don't Starve Together you have to kill them if you want the nightmare fuel. The first thing I want to do is to separate the terror beaks from the crawling horrors. That shouldn't be difficult because the terror beaks are so much faster. I want to get rid of the terror beaks first, and after that it shouldn't be dangerous anymore, and I can decide whether or not I want to farm the crawling horrors for the nightmare fuel. After I hit a shadow creature, I can attack a second time to maybe hit it again depending on where it reappears. I did that very rarely before because of the inconsistency of the second attack, but it is the right thing to do if you can land that second attack safely. Also, you can attack shadow creatures as they approach you, and move away before their attack actually hits you. But I can only do this if I remove the predictive setting on my lag compensation. Whenever I play in my own server, I leave all of my settings on default. And if I tried that initial attack here, there is no way I could land the attack and move away in time before I got hit. But when I play on servers where I lag and my ping is higher, I remove the predictive setting and I can handle the shadow creatures faster with that initial attack. It's a little weird that I do better with them on servers other than my own, but I've gotten too used to the predictive lag compensation whenever I play on my own server. I'm being a little greedy and I want to kill them all before I hear the sound of the nightmare phase changing, but this can be done a lot better and not as carelessly as I'm doing it. They will stay on even in the next phase of the cycle, but they will have a chance to start disappearing at that point. I'm about to spend way too much time trying to maneuver the rooks to damage the clockworks and destroy the broken stations for me. I wanted to avoid fighting a lot of the clockworks as Maxwell, but the space in the military biome is just way too open for the rooks to be that useful. Although a few of the clockworks and science stations were destroyed, it really wasn't worth it. So I decided to stop trying to maneuver the rooks at this point, and I'm just going to fight the clockworks and destroy the broken pseudoscience stations myself from now on. There are a lot of trinkets in the ruins, and I've only been gathering the frazzled wires so far. I just don't have the inventory space. But the frazzled wires are the most abundant down here, and after trading them all to the Pig King, I've never had to gather gold again no matter how long I choose to play a world. But if I do extend playing a world, I always come back to these areas eventually to gather the rest of the trinkets, even if only to have them among my inventory. I've cleared the military biome at this point, and now I'm back to more of these small clockwork areas with the thulecite walls and broken clockworks. I was about to get a wave of death worms, so I tried to get them to spawn beside the clockworks. Worms will eventually fight the clockworks if they spawn here and I move away from the area. But there were only a few worms, and I very nearly died trying to get the worms and clockworks to fight each other. There are also these small areas in the ruins with a lot of ancient statues. These areas are usually only guarded by 2 bishops. I could bait one of them away from the other one, but I decided to just tank them at the same time and keep an eye on my health. I dropped off most of the loot and resupplied my inventory again. I'm carrying all of the Thulusite fragments because I'm about to combine them all in the pseudoscience station. I'm probably also going to craft the Starcaller staff. That's all for now, guys. In the next part, I'll be finishing up with the ruins, then I'll be fighting the Ancient Guardian. Thank you for watching and I'll see you then.